Women forget that emotional intelligence also includes in being able to regulate their emotions. So we hear a lot with women saying that they're more emotionally intelligent than men. And if that was
Yeah,
the
that's
case,
bullshit.
Toya, I think here's another perspective. So most women, if they like you, they're going to start out submissive. That's just how that works, right? You're going to start out very feminine. But I think to Willie's point, it's going to be hard to see. It's going to take time for that to come out. They're like, who are you really? Because it's that honeymoon phase, right? You're attracted to him, you're gonna be soft, but eventually your ideas and the way that you not even just your ideas, because a lot of women know better. That don't mean they do better, right? Like when you look at the White Howard wife, right? The video that like after they got back together, she got a perfect video. She was talking her shit. She's like, yo, you need to listen to your husband. You need to stop talking. Y'all need to do this. Y'all need to do that. And it was just like she knew exactly what to say and she knew better. But eventually, it's what do you put into practice?
now she
So
posted videos with cocaine and Ziploc baggies and shit. So again, this shit is it's performative.
I mean, I can't really understand your reference because I don't know who you're talking about, but essentially, yes, she may start off in a submissive manner, and then as you guys go along, you might find out, who she really is and what her true colors are. But I mean, that essentially still goes with whatever guy she's dealing it with. No, so if
So
she's starting out submissive and then as the months go along she becomes non-submissive or whatever and she starts talking back or doing things or whatever the case may be, um what happened in that? Is it something she just said, oh, I'm no longer going to be submissive, or was it something that he did to trigger that?
it
He's
was
not responsible for her behavior. She is.
it was her. So a lot of women have never actually been with a man that was a real leader. A lot of them, right? Have just never actually been. They never been required of certain things from a man. So as they just start to come out. How they've always been in relationships starts to come out. And certain men will show you like over time, like, oh, he's been making good decisions. Like it's like he said this was gonna happen and it happened, right? So over time you start to see like, okay, maybe my anxiety can
Or
relax.
is it that over time she started to realize that he's not a leader but a loser?
I don't think that's normally what it is. No, I think
I don't know.
typically
He said that a majority of the men are losers, so I don't know if that's true.
He
Can't
said
really
a
So much
believe
lot.
for
that.
so much for women's intuition. Because if women's intuition was a thing, there wouldn't be so many single mothers.
women's intuition is a myth.
The most well, I don't think it's a myth. I do believe it's make believe though.
I don't think so. Personally, I think it's real. I think the problem is that people are raised to ignore red flags, or they're so desperate they're going to ignore what they actually do know. So I
Intuition
think
comes
that
from experience though,
there sometimes, right?
by
The
definition of
truth
the
of the
word.
matter is that I think a majority of women who are raised with honorable men around them will start to see certain behaviors and peace out. But if you're raised around dishonorable men, you have been conditioned to ignore those red flags when you meet another dishonorable man. So even though the alarms in you are kind of sounding, you're like, well, I'll give him a chance or this, that, and the third. So I think women do have to take accountability in that they ignore the BS. And I mean, we all done had a girlfriend who everybody was like, girl, don't talk to him. But
So,
I mean,
so do you
he's
think?
just
Or if they're not raised around men at all, right? Like if they don't have
That was gonna be my
any
point.
man really to look at and they
that
only
too.
have women to look at, you can have a feeling that something might not be good for you, but you're psyching yourself out of it because you're questioning your own beliefs because you really don't know. You have nothing to compare it to.
No, ask for the fellas. Have y'all ever been like the first good guy a woman has had before? Like
yeah.
the
Yeah,
very
that's not a good look. It's not a good
it,
look because they
that's
don't
the
really
most
know how to
stressful
What do you
receive
mean
shit
it.
in
by
the
good guy?
world.
What do you mean by
But
that?
I wouldn't call it intuition. I think we're missing it. I
No,
think it's more
that's not
learned
intuition.
behavior.
That's luck for her. I mean, for like if
Wait,
for a woman to be 35, 40, and then she get with you and you the first like solid nigga she's ever had,
I
do
think
you think that tells you a lot about her more so than it does you or I mean or the world she lives in? Because the common denominator between her and all the fuck niggas before you is her. And you being the first good nigga, you're gonna have to combat all of that shit all of
All
those
them
bad
dudes.
habits she has because she's been like, you know what I'm saying, dick L, I'm saying L fuck nigga before she wants to go get with a good dude.
I hear you. I wouldn't say good. I would say definitely solid. You're not wrong. I don't think, generally speaking, even if a woman has a good example, and I have seen this father brother structure, women individually are themselves. They have their own desires. Like they may be able to see and experience a daughter love, a brotherly love, a family unit love, but they put romantic love in its own bracket. And by nature, I think they're kind of rebellious, generally speaking. So you actually see them try to, in a sense, venture out. But solid, yes, I'll say a lot of women. I have been quite a bit of girls' first solid because they kind of minimize your male performance metrics based on what they assume is normal, and then I want them emotionally intelligent until you start saying, sweetie, why are you always late? Why do you talk like that?
Or women forget that emotional intelligence also includes being able to regulate their emotions. So we hear a lot with women saying that they're more emotionally intelligent than men. And if that was the
That's
case,
bullshit.
if that was the case, 1 in 4 women wouldn't be a victim of domestic violence throughout their entire life. 4 out of 4 women would. If men were the least likely or the ones who were less capable of regulating our emotions.
But I think that's a problem in relationships. I don't think you all should be held with the responsibility to regulate us. There should be co-regulation. Like that puts too much strain on you, and it doesn't allow the woman to take accountability. Like it removes that from her. Like she has to regulate herself. That's not your responsibility. If you're with a partner who cannot regulate themselves, that's not somebody that you should be with. Like that's like babysitting. That's not your child. And we've had this conversation. Y'all don't want y'all women to be children, right? That's a part of maturity and processing. And I think we keep confusing intuition with like clairvoyancy. Aren't you supposed to saw that he was a nigga and wasn't supposed to? I can't see what was happening, right? Intuition is me just being able to instantly read situations and emotions. And so I think that's what BK is saying, like when you ignore it, you felt the knot, or you heard the change in his tone. You knew something didn't feel right, but you didn't want to investigate. It was a fear of what you were gonna find out, which was and that's okay. But it's the fear of, again, being alone, starting all over. So you're like in a cycle of, again, not being able to, what Mike was saying initially, you don't want to vet. You don't want to have the patience. Like people are gonna mess up. That's like I shouldn't have a pillow for your mistakes. It depends on what we're talking about. But I just feel like, again, people are unrealistic when they're moving about in these relationships and how they structure themselves. Co-regulation is the most beneficial in a relationship. You have to maintain yourself and your partner has to maintain themselves. And if you all cannot coexist, then you need to be dismissed. I'll land.